Hello and welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage, on a beautiful 50-degree February Saturday afternoon. I just took this Turbo 400 apart. It's a core that's been under the bench for a while, and it's pretty rare when I'm building a transmission that I actually start with a whole one lately, because I have so many parts. I can typically piece one together with choice components that I've saved on the shelf. But to spoil myself today, I thought I would just take out a whole core, strip it down, rebuild it, put it back together, and not have to, play the shelf shuffle where you're looking for compatible good parts. So all your nuts and bolts, everything you can imagine that you need, all the small stuff you don't think of, is all in one spot. So like having a holiday or if somebody brought me their own transmission and wanted it rebuilt. So this is just going to be a nice street transmission, so it doesn't look like anything special. However, I've been eyeballing it under the bench for a while, and I've already looked up the code, 1980 CR, which is a Series 30 truck in Canada, it says, according to the online information. So that would be a bolt-on yoke truck with a deep pan. They were not putting any Turbo 400s in passenger cars in 1980 that I'm aware of. If you know of any, let me know. At least not here in America. It had the provisions for a bolt-on yoke at one point. However, let's continue with the outside clues. So it had a shallow pan. Now this, with a drain plug. Now this pan I've already wiped out because it was covered in black goo on the bottom, clutch material. But it's not one of the cheap chrome pans. It's an actual decent pan, but definitely a factory drain plug with a magnet. So just sitting there, a 1980 transmission with a shallow pan, that's suspect. Like I said, it did have the threaded hole in the back of the output shaft, but when I took off the tail housing and started stripping it, somebody has machined the O-ring area. Jumping ahead, everything that, if you watch my videos, all the standard high performance stuff you should do to a Turbo 400, this one has it. It has a roller output bearing. It has a 34 element drum. It has a shift kit, evidenced by the gold separator plate. But before I even saw that, somebody's plugged off the hole, part of the mod that gets rid of the automatic 1-2 upshift. So that's all been done. It has brand newish bands. Now, again, back to the outside clues. It wasn't rebuilt yesterday and failed immediately. It definitely has been run. There's some dirt built up on it, a little bit of oil, but it's not, 200,000 miles worth of goo either. So while I was right, it was a good core. Where did all the black material come from? It has, in the direct and the intermediate, beautiful Alto steels. They're written right on it, Alto. Nice clutches. Same with the intermediate. The bands are beautiful. But the forward is absolutely destroyed. Smoked. When I took the snap ring out, it actually jumped out at me because they're all warped and spread out. So now I have to determine why, which is your job as a rebuilder. You have to get to the point where you say, okay, this is a smoking gun. So I looked it over real good, and it has the dual feed mod for the direct, but what I was looking at is the rings. It has the late model 480E style one piece that had to be sized when you put them on. So whoever built this knew what they were doing. And all the rings appear to be in good shape. The forward drum, it's absolutely awful. A little bit too convenient for my belief is the big lip seal has a piece missing out of it. Now, did they just destroy it putting together? Well, it looks like it ran longer than that. and this probably is a result of overstroking. It wasn't hanging out of the bore, which you see that a lot when the clutches are completely smoked. This will jump right out from over traveling. It was still down this bore, and the piece is not there that's missing, so that just seems a little bit too convenient to believe, but it had to be something. Either that, I say the rings appear to be good. I did not air test it, but the rings in the back of the pump, which would send the oil to the forward drum, all look pretty good. Nothing appears wrong anywhere else. So, did they run out of oil? That's probably more likely suspect maybe, or got low on oil and somebody's just revving it up trying to move it, because of no question the damage is localized to one spot. And you can see when it was going bad, I mean the black soot is coming out of the vent holes. I mean, it was a catastrophic event, probably made worse by somebody's throttle foot, whether they're upset about it or whatever. But when you look at the case, every bolt hole is marked with a Sharpie, like it was checked. So probably somewhat a professional build, I'm thinking. I don't know where or who. I don't even remember where I got the case, to be honest with you, but as I'm taking it apart, I'm thinking, well, somebody marked everything, and somebody definitely knew what they were doing. How did it end up on my bench as a core? If I was to walk around this afternoon, and I just might because I have to go dig for another core, I can almost tell you where each one came from and the story of why I do have it. Usually I obviously got it from someone, and they probably had a story with it. Except for this one. I walked around just in the shop here, the 8 or 10 that are inside the garage, and I could tell you where they all came from. This one, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Santa Claus. It bothers me because I'm really good about, all my junk, knowing the story behind it, because that comes in handy in times like this. Now, from here forward, I won't do anything different than I normally do, but if I was to strip this transmission and found nothing wrong, that is the easiest scenario, but your steps are going to be the same assembling it. You still have to clean, refurbish every piece, and test everything on the way back together. So that really doesn't change. However, we do have damage, and I'm not sure I know why. It may still become evident. Maybe as I continue, I've only stripped it to this point. I haven't taken everything down to its core and taken every last piece out of the valve body and everything. It may still become obvious, but it might not. So all you can do is your best. You got to cover all the bases. There's no shortcuts, but it's definitely easy when you take it apart and there's nothing wrong. And, well, that's where we're at. But man, wouldn't it be awesome if every transmission I took apart had all the work done to it that I normally have to do, like rollarizing the output and finding a good drum, good clutches and steels. It really is a supercore. Rare. For all the hundreds of transmissions I strip, not very many surprise you with good stuff. Typically you're disappointed at what you it's only a 7-bolt case, so there's no bonus there, but that's okay, because I was actually attracted to this one for the core because it's going to be a shallow pan, 2-wheel drive transmission going in a car with an automatic shift and valve body. So it had externally, just looking at it, say I'm going to use that one because that has some of the things I need. So I guess that's it for today. I'm going to slide over, get this washing, and slide over and work on my engine for a while, I think. Another hour or two. I got some stuff to cover over there as well on the DOT engine project that more people are following along than I expected, so that's pretty good. And I hope you're enjoying this beautiful day. It is awesome out there for February. Can't beat it. Catch you in a few.